This is Rek'sai versus Zach in a pretty high elo game. This is pretty much a challenger game. There's like 8 challenger players in this game and 2 grandmasters. Is that right? No, I think there's 6 challenger players and 4 grandmasters. I'm one of the grandmasters, so let's get started. These are the runes I'm going to take. On Rek'sai right now, Conquer is pretty... Okay, my voice is a little bit too loud. On Rek'sai right now, Conquer is pretty much just the best rune. I know a lot of people like to go Hail Blades, but at least statistically speaking, Conquer is the best rune. Based on stats that I pulled from Lolalytics, it's possible that Rek'sai is actually just better into bruisers. Like, so when you would go Conquer, Rek'sai has a higher win rate, and Rek'sai is less good into maybe people that Hail Blade would be good into, if that makes sense. That's a really possible hypothesis, but I don't know. I much prefer Conquer. It has a way better pool of runes to choose from. Like Triumph, Alacrity, Coup de Grace are all better than like anything in the domination tree. So yeah, and then for the secondary tree, you pretty much always go sorcery. Nimbus Cloak plus Water Walking are just nutty broken. You could also go Absolute Focus. I've not really tried that, but definitely something you could do if you're into that. I read somewhere that somebody went, is it called Transcendence? The one that gives you CER, which is insane to me, but probably don't go Transcendence in my opinion. And then for the runes down here, I really like to go attack speed. You can also go AD in the top thing, but attack speed just feels a lot better to me. I find it really, really hard to play without that 10% attack speed. And then AD and armor. I think it's like 6 AD when it's adaptive force. I'm pretty sure that's what it is, which actually adds up to a lot. I did the math the other day, and like each AD adds 8 pre-mitigation damage, which is pretty interesting. So like 10 AD would give you 80 pre-mitigation damage, and some of that's post-mitigation because some of it translates into true damage from your E. But and then you go armor. You can also go MR. I actually think I do spec into MR instead because I'm against my plan right now and in general in the current patch is to focus mid lane. I think that's a really, really important focus right now. And I say that because I've tried spamming bot lane and Dragon Focus, and that didn't really work that well. And I tried spamming top lane and Herald Focus, and that didn't really work well. Ultimately, the best strategy is probably a mix of everything, but I think generally mid is a really strong role right now, and it's probably best to, if you're going to focus on anything, mid's probably the best way to go because you can sort of use that to go to Dragon or Herald and not force yourself to one side or the other. So that's where my mind's at right now. So I switch over to MR because they have AP jungle, AP mid. So that'll give us a slightly better 2v2. And Rek'Sai's sustain is good enough that she doesn't need to take armor to clear her jungle. And I'm going to show you guys how to do a clear because I know a lot of newer players struggle with this. Can this bar go away? Oh, I need to go full screen. Ooh, if I go full screen, I need to fix my thing. Hold on. This is what I messed up last time. Okay, we're gonna get this right. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. Let's do that. How does that look?
Oh, it's set support. Lucian top.
Good enough for now. Yeah, so they have a Ignite top, which I didn't really notice when I was loading in the game, which is bad. You should always try to like really look at this stuff. These little things are important. So the fact that Lucian has Ignite, I didn't really register for me until much later in the game, and that could definitely affect what I'm gonna do. Like if I'm gonna gank and I don't know how he has Ignite, that's kind of bad. I'm probably more likely to gank somebody who has Ignite because their deaths cost them more. All right, yeah, that's fine. So yeah, let's get started in the game here. The very first thing you're gonna do if you're jungling in this patch, until they fix it, or I don't know if they're ever gonna change it. They usually whenever there's a strategy like this, Riot always seems to change it. They don't last long, but right now what you do, trinket abuse strategies. Whenever there's a trinket abuse strategy, so we go for the invade, which is fine. Rek'Sai has a really bad invade because you always want to level up your Q first, in my opinion. Generally accepted the correct opinion, and basically that means all you can do is auto attack level 1. So yeah, generally I don't try to push for invades on Rek'sai. But what you want to do is try to base. I don't recommend like doing this yourself. If your team's invading, yeah, you want to get one this deep. If your team's not invading, just push it wherever you think is safe. And I'm talking about dropping a ward right now. So my team's invading, so I know I can do this. I base and I wait till the last second to drop a ward down, so it lasts for as long as possible on his red. And that just gives us some free information. You always want as much information as possible in the jungle, because you use information to make your decisions. The more information, the better decisions you can make, whatnot. Challenger game, by the way. Don't really know what that Echo's doing.
Holy fuck, Pike took it with aftershock.
But we're not talking about Echo, we're talking about us. So actually, it's very important to note. So now I know that Echo doesn't have flash until somebody pinged it 610 mid. So I know that I've got 5 minutes to try to make something happen mid, which is perfect, because that was my plan going into the game anyways. Also, another reason why I want to go mid, and something you should think about in your games, is like if you op.gg your team beforehand, which you should if you're trying really hard to win. You should make a good habit of that. I know that my mid laner is a really good player. Now I didn't op.gg him, but it's Jensen. So I know he's a strong player who I can rely on to carry the game. So if you're, for instance, your mid laner was like, maybe he was autofill or he's just has really bad stats, you might be less inclined to go mid, and you might be more inclined to go to a lane where the person has really good stats on op.gg or something like that. Those are little things that you can use to tinker your decisions and try to make them as good as possible to win your games, give you the best chance to win your games. Let's keep going. So I'm going to start my red. I think you should always start red on Rek'sai. Your blue clear is super unhealthy and slow. Red has like less armor. Like blue has less MR, like negative MR, and I think red has negative armor, which makes you do more damage and kill it faster. Plus the red buff ticks once you have it and you kill the other camps faster. Now, what most people do on most junglers or on most ganking junglers is they'll go red, blue, Gromp. I do something a little bit different on Rek'sai, and it's not like I'm the only one that does this. Some other people do it too. I think it makes your ganks a little bit less predictable. Is I go red, Krugs, Raptors. But I'll get more into that. So starting off here, you're going to start your Q, and you just Q, you auto attack, and then you use your Q to auto reset.
Alright, we know where Zach's starting.
And then you just want to kind of kite backwards towards the next camp you're going to. So if you were going to go do Raptors, or you were going to do the other player that I talked about, you were going to go to Gromp, or blue rather, you would kite over towards Raptors. So I pull it back here, and I don't smite it because, again, red's pretty easy to kill. And then I start over here. You level up your W second, and then you go to the next camp underground, and you want to use your unburrowed Q, or no, you want to use your burrowed Q, and then I always want to knock up this small one here on the right. I auto it twice, I think, and then smite the big one, and then I try to take a step back so I don't take damage from these small Krugs. And your W plus 1 Q, like the AoE from your Q, will kill those small ones. Alright, so yeah, I used my burrowed Q there. There's a couple different ways you can kill that last camp, but you do want to kill all the small ones. It's very important. So yeah, this path that I'm doing, it gives me more options, I think. Like if I was to go red, blue, Gromp, then my only ganking options would be mid or bot. But with this path, I can gank top, I can gank mid, or if I really want to, I can go all the way bot and gank them. So it gives me, I can gank any 3 lanes from like this.
We're gonna be looking mid.
And usually, if Echo was to ward aside, he would probably ward the blue side river, like down here. Because that's where most Rek'Sais would come from if they were going to gank. He should be warding because he should know that I want to kill him since he has no flash. So I use my sweeper. This is why, I don't know if I explained this well or not, but I don't think I did. So the reason you go in and you drop your ward and then you base and then you buy a sweeper is because your sweeper comes off cooldown right away, like right when the minions spawn, so you can use it for your little shenanigans. So now I have sweeper for this gank here. And I didn't point it out again. Sorry guys, this is my first time trying one of these overslaying videos, so it might be a little bit rough, but my ward at red let me know that what's his name, Zach, started at red. So it gives me an idea of what his path's going to be. So I know that there's no wards here, which means that I know Echo's not baiting or anything. I know Zach's probably not waiting in the wings, and I go for this. Honestly, I do this kind of wrong. He has like all of his abilities up. I should have flashed on him right away. Like, I give him time to cast everything. He casts his W and his E. But really, I should have immediately flashed on him and used my movement speed from Nim's Cloak. Like right there, I should have flashed at him. But it's fine. He would have gotten away, but thankfully, Jensen cleans up.
That's a little bit sketchy.
Do I help him shove this? Yeah. You usually want to try to take these this camp lane XP whenever you can. I mean, not if it'll like hurt your teammate, but you definitely almost always want to help them push. And that's something, it's kind of hard. You need to really understand how lanes work. So like if you're new to this game, it's really, really hard to make the decision to push or not because you just don't know. You don't know how lanes work. Eventually you'll learn through trial and error and maybe playing lanes of your own. Maybe watch some videos on wave management or something. But if you don't know, you can maybe just go by what your teammate wants. Maybe start pushing. Maybe they'll ping you off. I don't know. Just kind of do what they want. It's generally a good idea. You don't really want to piss your laners off, but unless you know better, unless you know that the lane needs to be shoved, because honestly, a lot of times, especially in lower elos, the laners don't even know what they need. So sometimes it's just better to do that, but let's keep going. So I know that Zach started red, so there's pretty much no chance. Like, I'm really low HP, and this is kind of super dangerous to walk into this river, but I know that Zach started red, and I've already done my 3 camps and ganked and shoved this wave, so I know there's really no possible way that Zach can be on this side unless he invaded my blue, which would be incredibly, incredibly weird as Zach. So there's like 100% chance. Well, that's kind of, what's the word? That's over exaggerating. I shouldn't over exaggerate. There's like a 90% chance that Zach is in his blue. So I feel pretty confident to go for this Scuttle Crab that's spawning. And I can use... you heal a lot of HP on Scuttle Crab. So I actually go as far to smite it so I can gank bot here. Pyke is pinging me Senna Splash, so I know that I can probably go for this gank. I don't know if this is ward or not, but I just go for it anyways. Looks like it's not. So... let me back up because this is kind of important. So you always go around like this. Like a gank up through top here, they would see me. That would be terrible. You definitely want to go behind here. And then you can see that Set's actually one that's pushed out of position, but he's pinging Senna, so I'm trusting him that that's who we're going for. So I completely ignore Set. And then I tunnel sort of towards the direction she's going. Yeah, I mean, they just set up this gank perfectly for me, so... and then we shove the wave. You always want to shove the wave if you can. It lets your laner get a better reset. I don't know if I explained that. It lets them get a better reset and it gives you XP. You usually want to give them the gold for the minions though.
Kind of need 1,000 gold to base here.
But that kind of depends. So I've got 1,000 gold here. You usually, if you have a 1k gold, you really want to base. Because right now I basically have 0 stats. Like I don't have any items that are giving me any stats, and everybody else has like Dorn shields and Dorn blades and stuff. So if you've got a 1k gold, you're like increasing your stats by a pretty large percentage. So you always want to base if you can with like 1k gold. It helps if you know exactly how much your items cost and how much, and if you're good at math. Apparently I'm not. I feel like I used to be good at math, but I struggle with it a lot in League for some reason, trying to calculate like how much gold I need. Unfortunately, our mid died there because I think if we played that mid gank better, he wouldn't have had to flash for the kill. So he ends up dying for that. But we buy Chilling Smite's really, really good on Rek'sai. If you're thinking about what smite to buy, some people buy red. I wouldn't buy red unless you're really good at using red smite. It's like a dueling smite. I don't really want to go too much into it in this video, but 2, if there's really only a couple junglers that I would take red into, I think Rengar is really important to have red because he can cleanse your blue slow anyways, and once you're fighting him, you're kind of all in. Olaf is another one that's really good to have red smite into because you kind of just have to all in him and hope for the best, and his ult makes your blue smite irrelevant. A lot of people take red smite into Lee Sin. I'm not doing that yet. Maybe I should be. I don't know. But those are pretty much the only champions I can think of off the top of my head that I would take red smite into. But blue's just so good for ganking, especially if you have Nimbus Cloak, because it also makes you even even faster, which is just nuts. So oh yeah, we want to soak this mid wave. As soon as Jensen dies here or Rise, I know that I want to catch this wave. You want to again try to catch these big waves whenever you can, because they lowered jungle camp XP, so it's really important to get these if you can. So we get this full wave, which is pretty good for us. You always get excited to see your laners die because you can take their farm. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. So right now we have to decide if we want to go to top side or bot side. I go top. I kind of think, like looking at this now, I'm kind of thinking I probably should have gone bot because they have no flashes. But I go, I guess, for kind of a greedy full clear situation here. I mean, you clear your raptors so fast when you have like blue smite. You kind of want to go underneath them, then use your burrowed Q, and then just auto them all. Yeah. I don't know, that might have been... How much XP did I even get for that? I think like barely any. Like Raptors really give you like no XP anymore. Sorry, I want to look at this.
Alright, we probably want to look bot.
Yeah, I barely got any XP for that. Like maybe 20%, I don't know. That probably wasn't worth it. I think I should have just gone straight towards bot. Like if I literally went straight bot and I didn't do Raptors here, I would be there right now. And this would just be 2 free kills.
I'm heading towards bot in case they need me. I don't think they will, but...
So Diana TPs, we're heading down there in case like the fight drags on and they need us. This is where I actually end up making a mistake. I think the fight's over, but I don't see that Rise is going down, so I don't realize that they're trying to dive them. So I just start dragging because I'm like, okay, that play's over. Let's get something out of it. Which was a pretty bad mistake. Fortunately, it ends up being okay. Oh yeah, so when you're doing big objectives, you want to sort of burrow and use your burrowed abilities intermittently when you can, when they come up cooldown. And I just so happened to notice that Echo is roaming down here. That's one of the cool things about Rek'sai. You can use your tremor sense to locate people. So I know that he's coming down. Really, really, guys, I should have jumped off of this dragon and gone and joined the fight with them. That's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. I certainly did, and clearly still do. But it's like if you leave a camp half done, like you're on a camp but they're fighting, you just got to leave the camp and go fight with your team. It's like very rarely is it ever worth it to finish the camp. So right here, I should have just got off Dragon to fight because Dragon's not that important. And we totally could have like lost this team fight really, really hard and cost us the game. But fortunately, that's not the case. And I'm able to E in. Honestly, my team just won it. They didn't even really need me there. But I'm able to E in, get them. And now all 4 of us are still down here. Lucian is top lane. He doesn't have TP. And these guys are really low. So I know that we can dive them. I know it's kind of hard to call dives in lower elos because you don't really know. I don't know. Turrets are can be kind of scary, but I make the call to go for it. My team wasn't going to go for it. I missed that cannon because I'm bad. But so we want to do this like sort of one at a time. We don't need to kill them all at once. We have plenty of time. Everybody's on death recall or on death counters. Everybody has death timers on their team. So yeah, we just go for one and then we go for the other. I had a lot of HP, so I took the first one.
I guess I thought they got away. I thought it was over.
But yeah, so that is why we did all of that. And then you want to kind of take these plates because they're free. Whenever a plate goes down, the turret gets a bunch of armor and MR. More if there's multiple people around. So that's why we just take 2 and then leave. But that was super good for us. Again, it was pretty lucky. But sometimes you get lucky. League is about that sometimes. We should have just gone down and dove them probably. Whew. So even though you'll notice that even though my bot side camps are all up, I actually haven't done them yet this game, which is kind of funny. But I just based right away because I have enough gold for warrior. That's a huge power spike. I have warrior at 630. I'm like incredibly strong right now, and you're gonna see that in a minute here. But yeah, if you can ever have the chance to buy a warrior, I definitely want to do that. It's important to base when you have stuff like that. So here's a mistake that I do. I go straight for my red here because right, like a lot of junglers will always do this. Whenever the red spawns, they always go for it because red's like are really nice to help you with your ganks, your clears, your whatnot. So pretty much whenever a jungler's red spawns, they always seem to go to it. I am apparently not immune to that, and I go straight for my red. Now, if I was a good player, I would realize, and this is what lane knowledge can do for you, but I would realize that Lucian's level 6 right now. I don't even know that he's level 6 because I haven't tabbed in forever and I should do that more. But Lucian's level 6 and Diana's coming back to lane. Lucian's 100% gonna all in her, like 100%. Gonna try to kill her here. So really, I should have just been running straight towards top to counter this. Instead, I go for my red. And then Lucian's all inning her, surprise, surprise. I mean, hindsight's 2020, but it was pretty obvious that he was going to try to all in her there. Okay, so we go for this here. This is the next best thing, to finish my red or do my red and then come over here. This is kind of important. I know that he probably does not have flash, or he probably would have used it to kill the Diana. So I'm sort of following him here. I'm about to get my water walking once we get on this river, so I would have caught up to him. That's why I kept following him. He uses his dash. Again, I'm pretty confident that he doesn't have flash. So I unburrow, and that's kind of an important mechanic. Wish I could go back like smaller degree, but so he dashes. I immediately unburrow because it starts to get, it puts my W off of cooldown faster in case I need it, like to tunnel or to knock people up. And then I ult, as opposed to just ulting straight up. I think that's a thing that I don't see like any Rek'sais do, but I think it's kind of important. So usually my W wouldn't start going off cooldown until you're actually inside your ult, so it takes like a second longer, which can make a huge difference. But anyways, I know he has no dash. I know he has no, I think he has no flash. So I just ult onto him here, and we have warrior, so we're incredibly fed, and we just like one-shot him. Oh, that's cool. I've never seen that death animation before. I've actually watched this clip like 6 times because this is my second time recording this video. I never noticed this, but a little grave pops up and he falls into it. That's pretty cool. So I decided not to take his farm here because he's a little bit behind in XP, and I'm pretty ahead, so I choose to give it to him. I don't know if that's right or wrong. We always want to go for these scuttle crabs if you can. It's like a little mini objective. We try to go top to see if Zach's camps are up. I kind of thought they would be, but I'm pretty sure they're not. Right now, we should be thinking, where is Zach? I kind of thought he would be blue side, like in his camps, because I knew he went down there for his red, but I guess instead of going to his top side, he went either into my jungle or he's looking for gank spot. There's nothing here, which again surprises me, but so now I just don't really know what to do. Do I go for Herald here? Herald's spawning. Herald's really, really good, especially when your lanes are winning. You can get a lot of free gold with this objective. So yeah, I guess we go for this, which makes sense. Looks like they might dive bot.
Hopefully Lucian doesn't like clear and then come to me.
Yeah, we're a little bit sketched out because our top laner isn't there, so maybe Lucian could like shove his wave and then come and mess with me. But honestly, I did this pretty fast. I think even if he did do that, I'd be fine. And I'm going to show you guys how to use Herald here in a second. But yeah, we go for this. We probably should be typing stuff to our bot lane, warning them of the Zac gank to play safe, to give up some minions or something. We don't do that. I think I was going mid because right now, right after you get the Herald, you kind of want to gank a lane and then try to push it to turret. Oh, God, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, so let me explain how to use Herald really quickly. I've seen people, even in Challenger, literally in my last game that I played in Challenger, they did this wrong. You don't want to just drop Herald and let it charge the turret. You want to take plates first and then drop Herald, because Herald does true damage, so you can get a lot more damage on turret and get more plate gold that way. So what I want to do here is try to gank top or mid, either force them to base or back off turret, whatever. It doesn't matter if we get a kill or not. I just need to force them off so we can get damage on the turret, and then I can drop Herald to get the maximum amount of value out of it. So I was going mid because they're mid laner based, I think, is what my process was there. Looks like bot's getting dove, but I'm top side, so there's not really anything I can do about that. Knowing Zac is bottom, that should give me more confidence in going for a play top or mid, because I know that Zac can't counter gank. That's important to think about. Right now, I kind of walk around in circles like a chicken with my head cut off or something here, because I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, which is really bad. You should be really decisive, and you don't want to waste any time in the jungle now, especially with the changes to jungle that remove catch-up XP. So you can see I'm literally walking back and forth. I've probably been walking back and forth for like 10 seconds now, which is kind of cringe, but whatever. Finally, Echo sort of commits to this, so I know I can go for it. And we just use our flash to gap close. And we kill them both because we're really strong. So I decided to go for mid here, which is kind of not super great for my mid laner, because this wave was actually like perfect for him. It was going to slow push to him. And maybe there's a video on wave control you can watch out there somewhere, so I don't really want to explain what slow pushing is. It's sort of out of the scope here. But I'm going to show you what I was talking about before. I deal some damage. Ideally, you would do more damage, but I was out of minions, so I actually had to drop it here if I wanted to do the play. So we got one play, and then we dropped it. And I just take the gold and leave. I don't really know. That wasn't a super good use of it. I got 3 plates. Ideally, you would either take the turret or get like 4, but that's okay. We still get a bunch of gold from it, and his mid turret's super low. We didn't hurt Jensen's wave too much. I see Zach at blue. So they know he's there because of a pink that I dropped earlier that I probably should have commented on. So we go for Ninja Tabi because they have a Lucian top, and they have a set, and they have a an AD Senna, so that's always a pretty good buy. I think I should have sold my potion there and bought a longsword instead. Potions you can sell on Rek'sai like immediately after your first base. It doesn't matter. If it'll get you an item, you should sell it. Instead, I buy a pink ward, which I guess is fine. I go over here. I'm heading towards bot now as opposed to top because I want to set up dragon. You usually want to base for dragon about like a minute before it spawns. You don't want to base like as it's spawning, or like even 30 seconds is too late. So it's spawning, we want to set up for it. I go mid here because they looks like they're fighting, and then I Q this guy, and then I ult him, so that way he's going to be forced to dodge my ult with his ult, and then we could just clean up. But Pyke ends up killing him, so it didn't matter. But always be on the lookout for cool things you can do with Rek'Sai's ult. It's like so many different uses of it. I think the sign of a good Rek'Sai player is how well they use their ultimate. Now we go straight for dragon here, but it might have been a bad idea. I don't know. Maybe we should have helped shove mid first or something. It's possible we should have just taken mid turret, but Zach's pretty good at defending mid turret, so I don't know. Or maybe we should have helped shoved and then gone for dragon. I don't know. This situation was kind of weird because they have bot lane shoved, so their bot lane can rotate. And if Zach jumped on me right now, it could be kind of bad. I'm forced to peel off of it because Set's playing pretty aggressive here. I don't know where Senna's somewhere in the area. I don't know where Zach's at. But Set just kind of ends here. I mean, I don't really know what this guy's doing. This is sort of important to notice that I didn't really do a super great job of it, but I don't want to let Set ult me into Senna or Zach or whoever's back there. So I tried to stay at like the right angle to where he can't do that. This E was kind of suspect. I probably should have E'd fully over this ridge instead of into this bush here, because if he just ults me right away, like this is right, he could have got out. But yeah, after that I'm 100% walking away from him because I don't want him to be able to ult me in the wrong direction, or a good direction for him rather. So he just kind of ends there, and we go for dragon. On Rek'Sai, you dragon secure with your E, or you execute it, however you want to say. It's E smite. Now, that was a little bit sketchy because Jhin autoed it right when it was dying. So as soon as it's in range, I calculate what my E damage is plus my smite. I think my E is like 170 or something here, so it's like 700 something. And I go for it, but then Jhin autos it right here, which is kind of weird. Whatever. You shouldn't really do that. If you're a laner watching this, don't fuck up your jungler's smites. But yeah, so we try to E smite it. It gets kind of weird because I don't time it perfectly. If you time it perfectly, your E and your smite damage will like stack onto each other. So it would be 246 plus 570, whatever that is. I don't know. I'm not gonna try that. So anyways, Zach actually could have stolen this if he was better, I guess. I don't know. But fortunately he did not, and we still get the secure. That would have been super sad. If you're playing Zach, you can usually go for those. Like, look how long he survives here. Like, even though I'm so strong, I don't have my E right away. But yeah, we almost die there. I'm like trying to. It was sort of an awkward situation. I knew Senna was over the wall. Fortunately, we see Echo rotating over. We're able to get out, but that was a little bit sketchy. We got pretty low there. Thankfully, we had bought all these defensive stats, which kept us alive there. Alternatively, you could look at it like if I had bought offensive stats, we would have killed the Zac, but I don't know. It's really important for us not to die because we have a huge shutdown. That's another reason why I bought defensive items because I don't want to get, like, I have, yeah. If they kill me, they get 800 gold, which is a mini objective in itself. So I need to be very, very careful. And yeah, you can see I sell my potion so I can buy pink ward here. You always want to do that if you can. We head straight to top side. I wonder if that's right. I have no camp spot side, so that kind of makes sense. And my red's up. You always want to go for that red when it spawns. And crowd spawning top, so I think going top here was probably right. I'm not 100% sure where their bot lane's at. I guess they're just chilling down there. Echo's playing really far up. So yeah, this is another thing I sort of touched on earlier is when you see a play like you see your team's about to fight, you really want to go over and join them right away. Like ditch whatever camp you're doing and join them. That's like 90% of the time the right thing to do. So if more often than not it's the right thing to do, you should always do it because more often than not it's going to be right? I think that makes sense. So I head over here and we get the kill, and with this we're able to push down mid, I believe, is what happens. Again, we do the same thing where I ult. I guess that's not the same thing. I was just kind of ulting to deal damage and kill him. But Pyke ults and takes it, which is fine. And then here is what I was talking about earlier. I think Zac comes to defend this. Yeah, Zac's really good at defending mid-wave. You got to be careful about that because he can E from either side. I mean, Eing from Raptors is usually what they do. But yep, so we have to back off. We're not able to get the last plate there. And I think after this, maybe we go and try to take his camps. We're super strong, so we kind of want to bully him if we can. We have no vision. This is kind of sketchy. I don't know who's here. I think all 5 of them end up coming to this fight, though, which is pretty weird. I E away, so he can't Q Diana, like knock us together. And then I accidentally take this tunnel. I didn't mean to click on it, but I put myself in a really in position. And a really good thing about Nimbus Cloak, it's super, super good for escaping. So I'm able to flash out and use that movement speed to get away. But yeah, that was super sketchy. If I had died there, it would have been really, really bad for us. So we'll just go start clearing our camps. Our Diana's dead, so there's no plays really happening. I could try to do a Herald, but again, we have no top laner and they could collapse on us. It's super, super easy to jump on. Like, something that I've noticed is kind of funny. If you're doing Herald, your team will be like, all right, he's got Herald, I don't need to help him. But if the enemy knows that you're doing Herald, they all jump on you at the same time. It's really interesting. I don't know. Your teammates like never seem to want to help with Herald. So I guess I decide to go for this Raptors. I think this gives me an item. Actually, it puts me really close to an item, but this is kind of part of being bad at math that I need to get better at. I catch this mid-wave because what's his face based. I try to cancel his base to waste some time, but my cooldowns aren't up. I kind of misjudged that. Waste a little bit of time there. Again, you always want to try to not waste any time at all. So little things like that. I mean, they might not seem like a big deal, but 5 seconds here, 5 seconds there adds up to like a full minute of you doing nothing, which is pretty bad. I buy a cloth armor. I really kind of wanted some MR because I already had an armor item, but I didn't have the gold for it, so I buy cloth instead. I guess I don't want to get Herald here. I want to farm my bot side instead. I have plenty of time to pick up the Herald. It's not that useful. Like, you really want to get the first Herald before 14 minutes if possible, or like before 13, so that you can use it to get plate golds. Plates dissolve or whatever you want to call it. Plates go away at 14 minutes. I see they're doing shit bot, so I go mid instead. This was probably a mistake, actually. I think I should have joined them bot, because clearly they're like committing to this fight. And I can see that Echo's roaming down now. So this was a huge mistake. I definitely should have gone bot instead. I think if we're there, we can probably turn that fight around the other way. So here, I know, or I believe that I can't 100% 100 to 0 Zac. I don't know if he has his passive or not. So I don't feel like I can do that. And Echo has his ult, so I don't think I can kill him either. I think he has his ult. I don't know. So instead, next I look at Set, who kind of isolated himself, kind of like we're Kazakhs. We want to look for these one-on-ones whenever we can. So he's, again, trolling this game, and he waits a second, then he comes over, and he walks in like the worst possible path when he doesn't know where I'm at. So you get a free kill there. I don't, yeah, I dropped down my pink so I can get vision. Obviously when you're in your burrowed, you can't see anything, so those pinks can be nice for that occasionally. I'm trying to find Echo because I don't really just want to walk into the pit with Zach. If you're playing Zach against Rek'sai, against Zach you can knock him out of his W, or his E rather, his slingshot with your W. But if you're playing the opposite matchup, what they do is they E you, and then they CC you with their, sorry, they Q you. They CC you with your Q, and then they E you, so you can't knock them out of it, in case you ever play the opposite side of this matchup. Or if you're playing the matchup and you want to know what they're going to do, that's usually what they do, if they're smart. So you got to watch out for that. I decided to go for Echo here because he's not a tank. He's got a full AP, so I can mess him up, ideally. Maybe a little bit sketchy. Did I really need to commit here? I want to rewatch this. Actually, Dragon has so much HP, I probably shouldn't have gone for this, because Zach's cooldowns are going to come back up, and Echo still has ult. This was honestly probably kind of sketchy. I think I should have waited for Ryze to come over more. I don't think I should have gone in here. Again, the reason I should not have gone in here is because basically they have a bunch of cooldowns. I mean, Echo's W is down, thank God, but Dragon's full HP. There's like no reason for me to go in here. So I do a kind of a risky thing. I go in there. I honestly don't think Echo should have ulted right away, but we won't get into what Echo's doing. I'm kind of in a bad situation because Senna can hit me over the wall like you just saw, but good thing is on Rek'sai you can use your ult to get out of sticky situations, and I use my ult to get to away from Senna, or put some distance between us. Couple different uses for your R. You can get out of sticky situations, you can gap close to kill them, you can actually kill them with your R. A lot of different things you can do. Just stuff you'll learn the more you play Rek'sai. So I hang around there to smite it. Echo almost kills us, thankfully doesn't. Jin actually ends up finishing it because he has his 4th shot, which does a ton of damage.
This has been a tight game.
And now we just want to get enough gold to buy something before we base. It's possible we should have looked for stuff in Zach's jungle. You always want to try to steal camps when you can, especially when you kill the enemy team and you're resetting.
That set just like hard into. Set's playing really troll.
So I did those 2 kibs. I don't know what my plan was afterwards. I probably should have bait, or at least started basing. But then I see that Senna's wrapping around. They're wrapping around on Jin here, so I come over to help him. And again, I have not died yet this game. I have a huge shutdown. I'm 1k gold. I really do not want to die. So I play really safe. I CC up the set here. He flashes and gets him. I could have ulted him there, but it's just not worth it. I'd get 300 gold for killing Set. I mean, I guess Jin would probably get an assist. I don't know if he hit him or not, but it's just too risky. I'm like really low. I don't have my flash. I don't know where the other members of their team are. So I decide not to ult him. It's just not, straight up not worth it. And I think, yeah, Echo ends up appearing behind him. So if Echo is there, I pretty much 100% would have died there if I had ulted him. So really glad I didn't do that. You really, really want to not... don't pull the Lee Sin me and where you go in. Your mind's telling you no, but your body, yeah, don't do that. Don't int on Rek'sai. You could not play every game and never die. That's perfect. Really, really important that you don't die here. So Set's again trolling this game, so we just abuse him here. I see that he's pushing up, and I know that I can like one-shot him, so we go for that. And again, I don't know if I've talked about this yet. Your combo on Rek'sai, I probably should have mentioned it again for anyone new to Rek'sai, but what you want to do is you hit them with your burrowed Q, then you knock them up, then you auto, then you Q to reset, and then once your Fury bar is full, you E them. And that's pretty much it. I mean, it's not that complicated. Maybe you could probably play like a dummy practice game and master it in like 60 seconds. It's really not too much to it. Somebody's asking me a question about the buffs that they're doing to tanks right now. I have a ton of gold and I want to reset, but my team's pushing, so I have to keep going. You don't want to reset when your team's pushing.
In the sense that I don't mind playing Tang.
Very, very important not to do that. Like obviously you want to. I really want to base right now, but I just can't.
We'll see though. There are tanks that are already doing well though. Is the problem? Like Zach is already very strong. Nunu is already very strong. I don't want
So I flashed there because I don't. Zach could potentially knock me up and chain CC me into death. I E to get out of Echo's W. Oh, I really don't want to die here. So I think my team's pushy because they said that they were opening, or Zach said they were opening, but clearly they're not opening. So I leave, and I even type. It's very important to type when you can. I tell my team to back off. I say they're not opening, but they keep going for it anyways. I know it's going to go badly, but I mean, usually you always want to follow your team's call, even if you think it's not the right one. But in this case, it was so objectively bad that I just did not follow it, which I 100% think was the right call. Make those decisions at your own digression or whatever.
Weird.
I don't think that's the correct use of that word. Make those decisions at your own risk. Let's just say that.
I want nothing to do with this play.
Yeah, I want literally nothing to do with whatever nonsense they were just doing. That was kind of just pure int on them. Zach can engage on them really easily. We had no wave. I see they're going for Baron now, so I head over here. I wanted to take as much advantage of the situation as much as possible, which was to take all of Zach's camps. But now they're on Baron. I just want to try to poke them down with my Q. I don't want to go in. I'm just going to try to steal at the end. I have 2 levels on Zach, which will give me a little bit of an advantage to try to take it. Oh yeah, you can use your Q to give you objectives on, or sorry, to give you vision on neutral objectives. Sometimes it doesn't work. I actually don't know why. I don't know if it's a bug or what, but sometimes it won't give you vision of them, seemingly. Maybe a pink denies it. I've never thought about that. I don't know. But I use my Q to give me some vision. Ike's a B, so he keeps pulling them off. I use my ult to try to get out of this sticky situation again. All the while I'm looking at Baron and I see how low it is. I know that my smite does 760, so I'm ing in here. Right at about 1300 to make sure that I'm in the pit for it. Jin ends up finishing it again with his 4th shot. And I think they just forfeit after this. Ugh. And yeah, we're just chasing this guy. We're trying to get into smite range so we can get the movement speed bonus. Yep, and that's the game. So yeah, this is my first. Well, this is my second attempt recording this episode. I watched it the first time and I didn't really like it. I didn't feel like I went into enough detail. Even now, I don't feel like I necessarily went into enough detail to be the level of what I wanted this series to be. But hopefully there was something useful in here. If anybody has any questions about a play that I made, or you had a suggestion or an opinion you want to offer, just put the timestamp in the comments below and let me know. And I'll answer literally every question or whatnot. Let me know if this was useful or helpful. Hopefully it was. I'd like to do more of these on different champions and stuff like that. But yeah, that's all I got for you. So that is Overexplain episode 1. Rek'sai versus Zach.